All right. You joining me? I think this is your first YouTube appearance. Well, I think you appear in some shorts, but never long form. And I feel like when I was last doing life episodes earlier in the days of this channel, the last life episode, I don't think I had a dog yet, which is crazy because I feel like we've had her forever. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've done consistent, those vloggy sort of life update videos. So anyways, this is not really that. This is more focused specifically on work and what I'm doing work-wise. I feel like I haven't talked about work a lot, not just on this channel, but anywhere online, really. And what I'm up to, what the current capacity is, and where I'm putting my time and how I'm making money and that kind of thing. Yeah. Let's dig into an update on that specifically. So I've got a couple notes prepped, and we'll kind of go off of that. So what is Daniel up to, and how is Daniel making money right now? So starting at the top, first and foremost, I still work at Vireo Video. I don't know. Yeah, I was probably working at Vireo already last time. Again, with one of those live episodes, I think that was already a thing because I've been at Vireo now for 3.5 years. I guess the end of this year will be 4 years. So been there for a decent amount of time now. For those that don't know, Vireo Video is a YouTube marketing agency. So it's a marketing agency that focuses specifically on YouTube and helping brands on YouTube versus creators. We work with the odd creator here and there, but it's really more focused on helping businesses and brands figure out and use YouTube properly to actually grow and that sort of thing. So it's pretty niche and pretty specific in what it is. But yeah, my current title is the director of marketing there. So what does that mean? So basically I'm in charge of the internal marketing that we do at the agency. So not really touching any client work, a little bit here and there when it's needed and stuff, but mostly focused on just the agency's marketing itself. So, the website for the agency, the social media, the content creation, the video marketing, Vireo's own YouTube channel, and those kinds of things, making video ads, running search ads, basically listing all the different things that we're doing right now. But yeah, basically it's the ultimate KPI of my role there is to drive qualified leads. So these would be, bigger businesses, some as, in Fortune 500, like some of the biggest brands in the world. And then you get other brands that you've never heard of before, but they're doing 10, 20, 30 or more $1 million a year in revenue. And those are like prime clients of ours as well. They've decided they want to take YouTube more seriously and they go looking for somebody that does this, an agency that specializes in this area of things. And that's where ideally we show up so that those leads come to us and we get a chance to pitch them on our services and that sort of thing. So yeah, again, title is Director of Marketing there. I think it's been that way now for maybe a year and a half or so, probably about a year. And prior to that, I was the Marketing Manager. So just same role basically, but just I had asked for an updated title at some point because I felt like I was going beyond the duties of a Marketing Manager, and also just to make it LinkedIn official. I don't know if I have a resume. I haven't used a resume in a very long time, but if I were to have a resume, that would be on it obviously as well to kind of show that going from Marketing Manager to Director of Marketing looks good career-wise, career path-wise and stuff. So yeah, that's the current kind of full-time focus. That's the Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. That's ultimately what I'm up to. I'm gonna see if I can just attach this. I like using my hands for motions, and maybe this will, let's see if that works. So already using the hands. So yeah, that's the full-time focus. That's the 9 to 5. It's kind of half in the office and half here from home, which is nice. I'm able to kind of work half the time from home, which is obviously helpful. You don't have to commute. You got to save a little bit of money. You can eat food out of the fridge at any given time. You can do a couple chores here and there during your lunch break or before work starts, or that kind of thing. You save time basically, so that's really nice. You save money, which is also great. And having a kid at home too, it can give a little bit of help to Lisa here and there and stuff too throughout the day. So love being able to work from home. I have a little space that I'm sure we'll show on this channel at some point. And then, yeah, the other half of the time is at the office, which is in Gastown, downtown Vancouver. So it's nice to kind of have the flexibility, be in person for certain meetings throughout the week and stuff. But then also, yeah, for like the deeper kind of focused work that I like to do, for 3-4 hours at a time, it's nice to kind of block those off when I'm at home, put headphones in, just get in the zone, make too many coffees, and just kind of pound away at it. So yeah, that's taking up the bulk of my time, that role. I would say that it's going well. The agency is growing, like year over year. It's continued to grow every year that I've been there, and I think it's in its 8th year now. So yeah, the companies, not a lot of companies make it to 8 years either as a startup. So it's cool to see my good friend Marlon, who is the CEO and the founder of the agency. Long story short, we went to film school together back in 2011, for those that don't know. And we've been friends ever since and have worked together on a number of different projects and things. But yeah, he runs the agency, he owns the agency, and he's hired me to run the marketing. But yeah, it's going well. The agency's doing well. It has its problems like any company or startup does, things that we're trying to figure out and get past to grow further and to generate more profit and to build the team out and make cool investments and that kind of stuff. So I love that environment. I love the startup environment. I love its flexibility. I love that you get to and that you have to wear a lot of different hats. And like someone like me, like I guess I'm a bit of a generalist. Like I do probably identify more, I haven't thought too much about that, but I guess I do kind of identify a bit more as a generalist, someone that can do a lot of different things pretty well. And some things I can do really well, but I have skills kind of spread across many different areas. And when I identify something that is an area that I don't know much about, but I can see that the agency needs it, for instance, that's something that I can go and dig into and spend the time learning to do. So I enjoy that this kind of environment provides that opportunity, which is cool. On the other hand, sometimes, I'm at 3.5 years. So sometimes I think it's natural to just sort of also wonder, if I wasn't doing this, what else would I be doing full time? And so, yeah, the curiosity comes up of, sometimes I think that I want to go work for a big brand like a Lululemon or a Nike or something like that. Lululemon, because they're a local Vancouver company as well. That would be interesting as well, I think, too, working in marketing or something like that. But yeah, for right now, I feel like Vireo very much fits into my lifestyle and it's good. I would like to be more successful in my role, if I could be quite honest. I feel like it's very challenging sometimes to know what to do to drive more leads for the business. Maybe this is getting too specific and detailed, but I think that's just like I just want to be better and be able to do a better job and to earn more money for it as well. And if I can do my role better, like if I can have a bigger impact on the company, then, I can also grow my potential and my salary and what I get back from the company as well, which is another reason why I love the company, is because, it has that, it's a direct correlation for what you put in is going to be what you get out. Like if I can really move the needle for the agency, then there's lots more opportunity that exists there for me, versus at a big company, you can do amazing work and you're still ultimately climbing a ladder. I'm generalizing here, but I think that's generally the case. So yeah, I'm happy there. I feel maybe a tiny bit complacent. Like it's definitely a little bit comfortable. I work with a good friend as well. Obviously, I just shared about that too. So, in some ways, I want to make sure that I'm surrounded by people that are pushing me and that are making me be better. And sometimes I think that I could have, more of a mentor or someone that is above me that is helping me grow in the role and stuff too. But obviously I work with Marlon, my friend, the CEO, and we're able to work together and collaborate on different things, and other people in the agency too that are great at what they do and that are really smart at what they do. But nobody that's like, above me in my department, I guess, in marketing. So I think that's a challenge that I run into, is like, I need to look externally for someone that knows more than me on how to accomplish what we've never accomplished before. Like we have a goal this year to generate 150 ICP leads, which is ideal client profile leads. So these are like big businesses, qualified businesses that have the budget, have marketing teams to work with, that sort of thing. So, how do you do that if you've never done it before? We obviously have certain channels that work well for us, like SEO on Google is still a big driver for us. Now SEO with like AI, like tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini, like we show up in results when you look for a YouTube agency and those as well, which is great. So there's channels that work. But sometimes I feel like we do too many things, and maybe we should be focused more on like one or two things and do those things really well and do them deeply and really, yeah. I don't know. There's lots of questions that pop up, and I think ultimately it just comes down to like I don't feel like there's someone above me that is really my direct coach. So that's something I need to do. I have it on my to-do list actually for a while that I've been postponing, but to look for a mentor that's, in the marketing space that can guide me a little bit and that I can talk through these kinds of things with and stuff. So yeah, anyways, that's a snapshot kind of where things are at. I feel like that was super long, but bear with me here. Still getting used to doing the YouTube videos and talking to camera again and stuff, but I can definitely talk and ramble for unlimited amount of time. So maybe that's good. I don't know. That's Vireo. That's the full-time focus. That's what, where my energy goes first, work-wise, throughout the week. Next up, secondary to that, I still freelance. Not a lot, and I'm very picky and choosy with what I do take on because I have already too many priorities with my main full-time employment with Vireo, being a dad, trying to work out, have friends and nurture relationships with my wife and friends and all those things. So already too many priorities, but when it comes to work, I do spend some of my energy on freelance stuff still. So what does that look like? Basically, totally transparently, I have one retainer client that I've had for a very long time. He is grandfathered in and we work really well together. It's very easy. He knows my situation really well and that some weeks I'm going to be putting in way too many hours and other weeks I'm going to be really, really quiet. And so the flexibility that I have with that working relationship with this client is, I feel like it's rare and I feel like it's like something not to take lightly. Like it's a very good opportunity. It pays pretty well for how much time I do have to spend on it. And I'll get into the details of it. Basically, it's a company based out of the US. It's a founder. He's originally someone I went to school with actually back in like high school. Yeah, he has since moved down to Texas and he's moved his family down there, but he runs a few different businesses. Some of them are up here in BC in like Metro Vancouver. And then he owns a business in Michigan and he kind of runs it out of Texas, but he's back and forth all the different times and stuff. So he's like a serial entrepreneur, super hardworking, interesting guy. We get along really well. He's awesome. I would say he's a bit of a mentor as well. He's definitely someone that guides and that I can talk with and I look up to him. He's a very hardworking, resilient person, and I really respect that about him. And so I do kind of what he needs when it comes to marketing with a variety of his different businesses. Most of it is focused on one of his companies, which is a manufacturer based out of Michigan, and they make snowplows. These snowplows go on the back of a truck instead of the front. So it's a very strange sight if you have not seen it before. Yeah, super unique product, and it works really, really well. Like if you see this thing in action, you're kind of like, what the is that? But at the same time, it also works really well. And so Rob, he bought this manufacturer, he bought this company in the States. But prior to that, he was a user of that company. And so he just loved the product so much and he decided to buy the company. And so I work with Rob on helping him market that company. And so basically what that means is our biggest marketing channel is video marketing. So mostly short form content for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And so I make short form content basically, and he shoots most of it on his phone, or we gather that content from other people that are using the product. I have it all kind of in a vault basically and on a SSD hard drive, which I need to organize better because I feel like it would make me way quicker. But anyways, so basically I help him turn those videos into like compelling pieces of content, and then we post that content. Until recently, I was the one actually kind of like, literally sourcing the videos, editing the videos, and then posting the videos to all the different platforms. I've recently got away from posting the videos because I kind of requested I don't have time for that part, but I can spend the time on making the videos, and that's what I'm ultimately really good at for him. I understand the product and his audience, and like, for example, last year we did, I think it was about 24 million views across those 4 different platforms I mentioned. So 24 million. So I have a very good understanding of what works for him and for that product and for that audience. And through that content and through those millions of views, we've generated a ton of leads for him, and those have turned into sales. So it's really cool to see the work that I do there have a direct impact to the success of the business. And not everything I do works, definitely not. And I make a ton of content that flops as well. But sometimes I do make content that does extremely well. I think my highest performing video is like 6 or 7.5 million views. Maybe I'll share something in here, or I'll link it up here or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to have that publicly. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, that's a really cool company. That's my one kind of freelance client. He also has a snow removal business. You know, they go quite hand in hand, but he has a snow removal business here in Metro Vancouver. So when it snows in the winter, I will sometimes help film, or I'll coordinate people to film those snow events and kind of just show his gear in action, that kind of thing. And we make sure to get as much content as we can when it's snowing, so that throughout the year we can kind of use that content on different videos and stuff. And so the bulk of what I'm doing there is really just video editing. That's ultimately what it is. And then there's the strategy behind what video to create, what text to put on that video, or what voiceover to use. There's a lot of AI used in the process to come up with voiceovers and scripts and hooks and all those kinds of things. And the work that I do here, as I'm talking about, I'm realizing, not a new realization, but just that I'll mention it, is that the work that I do with Rob in this company, it directly, like everything I'm learning there is directly applicable to what I do at my full-time employment at Vireo. Being a YouTube agency and working directly with content myself, I see what works. I see how we drive leads with content. I see the impact of YouTube, and I understand it way deeper because of that. And I'm able to bring that then into my work at Vireo. So these two things go very hand in hand. And that editing, a lot of the times, the freelance stuff can be done in the evenings. It's usually, I sit down at 10 p.m. at night and I will edit for 2 or 3 hours at a time. And in the 2 or 3 hours, I can usually pump out, this is going to make me sound slow, I think, compared to other editors, but 5 or 6 videos, maybe 5, 6, 7 videos. Some are really simple, and then others are much more complex, where I have to cut down a video that's an hour long and pick out the best parts of what someone is saying, and then align the footage with that, and then do captions and do some different effects kind of throughout and stuff too, sound effects or GIFs that pop up, things like that, to make the video interesting. So yeah, there's I've gotten really good at that, and I've gotten what I think is pretty fast at it. I think there's ways to improve the speed of that, but that's kind of what that looks like. So that's a monthly retainer every month that I make on top of my full-time employment. So it's definitely a nice add-on to the salary at Vireo, and it helps me to save a little bit and to pay for a kid and the things that we want to do in life. So there's been times where I've thought, okay, I'm just going to give the freelance stuff up. And I've said that to Rob a few times. He knows this. And I said, I got to pause, or I've got to take the summer off or whatever, just because I feel overwhelmed. And like, again, sometimes I worry that I'm trying to do too many things at once, and then I'm going to do them all mediocrely and not get to the next level. And that's a genuine fear of mine. But at the same time, I keep coming back to like, okay, well, it's a steady, consistent, additional income every month that I can, directly put into savings and into investments. And to help afford the things that we want to do, like the trips that we went on this year and things like that too. So, and especially with my wife, Lisa, being on maternity leave right now, she does not have the same salary as she used to when she works, obviously. So until she goes back, I thought, okay, yeah, it helps supplement the family income a little bit. So I'm not quite ready to give that up. And I don't know what that looks like in the next year or two, if I keep going, if maybe that changes into more of a role as well between his different companies. I've thought about that before too, of pitching him on like, hey, I'll be the director of marketing for your group of companies, and then make it more to an official kind of role and split my time between that and whatever else, whether Vireo or whatever else. and be more of a fractional CMO or fractional director of marketing. Like that could be an option too. So I don't know what that looks like yet, but as of right now, I'm not gonna quit that yet. I like working with Rob, as I've said, and I'm good at it and I understand it. And yeah, I think it's just something that I have to kind of do right now. Even though it's challenging sitting down at the end of a long day and you've now got to edit for multiple hours. That's a few times a week, usually once or twice. It's not every night. But it also takes a toll on your sleep. And then you sleep less and you still have to wake up early because you've got a kid, you've got work, and you've got priorities to do. And then, you do some on the weekend too, but it takes away from other things that you want to do as well. So it's a challenge, but it's just something I think that I have to keep doing for now to make more money, basically. So that's that. So there's Vireo, there's Freelance, one client that I have on retainer, and then what else is beyond that? So yeah, this could probably be its whole own video, this next section, but I'm also a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur, have been for a long time, whether there's something active or not, but right now there is something that I'm actively working on, and that is Vancity. It's the handle of Vancity on Instagram. I think most of you will know about it, unless there's some new audience members here. But Vancity is mainly an Instagram channel that I've been running with a few different people over the years for the last decade, basically. We got that handle on Instagram, about a decade ago, 10 years ago. And ever since then, we've been posting content pretty consistently. There's been times where it's been lull or dormant, just because no one was focused on it or whatever. And so it's kind of gone through different waves over its life. But right now, recently, I guess I want to say 4 or 5 months ago, I went on a run with a friend, an entrepreneur friend, and someone that I just know that hadn't met in person before, but I've seen him online a lot and stuff, and he's local here in Vancouver. So anyways, he was into running, so I was like, hey, let's go for a morning run. And I knew that he'd be someone good to talk through kind of business ideas with. And I was at this place in my life where I really wanted to be building something of my own again on the side of things, because I don't have enough things to do already, right? Joke. Anyways, so I was like, I really want to have my own project again, and to be able to put time into something that I know is my own and that I can build and eventually maybe one day make that my full-time thing, or to be able to, grow it into something meaningful that has a positive impact, but also makes money financially and supports me and my family and that sort of thing. And so I wrote down 10 or 11 different ideas on a Google Doc, and I was like, these are all the different things that I think that I could do that are good ideas that I think they're good ideas that are worth thinking about, basically. And one of those was Vancity, because we'd already put a lot of work into building it into an audience of about 80,000 people on Instagram. And prior to kind of starting it again, 4 or 5 months ago, it had been dormant for a year or 2 years even. And so the original team was off the project. Nobody was working on it. I still had access to the Instagram account, obviously, and I thought a lot about it for a long time. I'd say there's rarely a week that goes by where I was not thinking about it and thinking about, what did we do wrong, or why weren't we able to grow it more in the past, or how could we make more money from it? Because in the past it hadn't made much money, but we never really gave it a full-time effort as well. And so my thinking now was, okay, I got to tie the story together. So anyways, I went for a run with this guy, and I talked through these different ideas that I had, or some of them anyways. And we got to talking about Vancity, and he actually brought up Vancity. He's like, so what are you doing with Vancity? Is that in the mix right now? Or is that a part of what you're thinking about in terms of next steps and businesses and stuff, and kind of something along those lines? And I was like, man, I think about it a lot still, but there's just no momentum right now. There's no team working on it. I don't know what we would be, or how to kind of get that going again. And also it had struggled to make money in the past, so I'm hesitant to go down that path and spend a bunch of time again trying to make it work, and to generate an income from it, or enough to make it, to be able to justify the time to put into it, I guess. And so we kind of talked through a few different things, and he sort of asked me hey, long story short, not a short story, but to make it shorter, he kind of, at the end of this run, we kind of went our own ways. And he expressed interest in like, if you are going to pick it back up again, like I'd love to work with you on it. I think it's interesting and I could see myself, contributing to that project. So let me know if you're going to think about it and do something about it. And so that was kind of the nudge that I sort of needed to be like, okay, there's something here. And if I can get his help on it, like he's a really smart person, and I'm not going to say who it is yet. I think at some point that's just going to come up and we'll get into that. But he's a great person, really smart, just tons of energy and fresh ideas and optimism. And he really understands the space. And I think his skill set works really well, and his network too for this business, Vancity. And so that was kind of like, okay, that's a really encouraging sign. I like that. I would like to be able to work with him as well on this. And then someone else as well that was previously on the team that I knew, she also loved this company and what we were doing here. And I knew that if I talked to her about it and asked if she'd be interested in rekindling it, that she'd probably be interested in that. And so, I chatted with her as well. And I kind of mentioned this other person as well that was interested in it. And the three of us decided to start pursuing that again. So we're working on Vancity. I don't know, all of that to say we're working on Vancity again. At the end of the day, like I just wrote a paragraph the other day that kind of describes what it is. And of course, I'm not remembering exactly what that paragraph says, but if I can just come up with it on the top of my head, it's like, we're a online community that is all about showcasing what makes Vancouver so special. And that means showcasing the people, the places, the experiences, everything that just makes the city so special and so awesome to be here. And that's for locals, but it's also for people that might be coming to visit or that want to come visit and stuff. So it's a bit of like a tourism sort of play, but also, I think we described it kind of as like we're fighting to be the best friend of the Vancouverites. Someone that always knows what's going on and the cool things to kind of come do and to check out and stuff. And so, that's kind of what it is. I think we have a lot of plans. We just had our first in-person meeting like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, it had been all kind of calls and stuff between the three of us. We meet every week, or most weeks at least, and we provide updates on kind of what got done, what we're focused on next, and any roadblocks we have, that sort of thing. But yeah, we've gone through the process of reincorporating the business. We've bought a domain, so we're building out a little website and email capture now as well. And we just rolled out a Google form as well and put it in the bio so that we're looking for people that are interested in being hosts or being in content, like original content that we want to create on the channel. Because that's something that we hadn't tapped into, or that we just started tapping into before this most recent like dormant period of Vancity. We had just started making original content. And that was before Reels was even a thing on Instagram, which is crazy. And so, now with where Instagram is at and where TikTok is at and YouTube Shorts and all this stuff, I think that if we were to come up with new content, like new series ideas, that the content would do extremely well and that we would be able to grow the channel much more quickly than if we just continue to repost other people's content in the city. I think that continues to be an important basket of the content, but then we really need to create our own original content as well. So like that's one of the focuses, for instance. I think at some point we'll start to do some like in-person events again. We've done a ton of those in the past. I think like 50 plus meetups in the past. So I definitely see us doing more of those kinds of things in the future. I guess those are the kind of the immediate focuses. We want to, obviously set up a website and get like email capture going there and start to build like a bit of an email list as well. And more immediately, I guess, like also work with brands on just, giving our platform to be able to promote cool businesses and events and experiences in the city and stuff. Some of that's going to be free just because we want to make connections and relationships with these great brands. And some of it might be paid as well. We've done paid collaborations in the past with a ton of big brands in the city, like Van Dusen and Botanical Gardens and Canucks, Whitecaps, tons of different of brands. And so we want to continue to do more of those paid promotions and kind of just like, build relationships in the city with different brands and creators and stuff. So we're working on Vancity. I feel like the team there is really strong right now, which I think is the biggest competitive advantage that we have. The account is growing again. So it had, been declining kind of in dormant, but we've actually reignited growth and have seen some new energy kind of coming into there, which is really, really cool. And yeah, so that's another piece of the puzzle that I'm working on is Vancity. So to recap, full-time work, Vireo Video. Secondary work, 1 freelance retainer contract. Third thing, growing a business called Vancity. It's actually called Hey Vancity. I should have clarified that. Hey Vancity. The handle is Vancity on Instagram, but the business is actually legally going to be called Hey Vancity Ltd. And so, yeah, we're working on kind of all the details of the branding of that and yeah, launching a website and things like that. But yeah, that's that. Maybe the last thing I'll touch on, this video is feeling very long already, so I apologize, and I expect no one to actually watch this, but, oh, are you leaving me? Okay, you do you. The last thing I guess I had written down also was just like, yeah, personal content. I just want to be able to make more content. And not that I have any time for that, which is always the challenging part. Like, yeah, we went to Spain, and I have all this beautiful content of our family in Spain, and I want to edit all that stuff, and I have so many cool ideas, but it's hard to carve out the time for that. So I'm just taking it as it comes. I mean, this is personal content. This is really cool to be filming a little bit of something for YouTube. Let's see what happens with YouTube. I don't want to make too many promises because I've done that in the past, and it goes nowhere. So, but I do enjoy this, just talking to the camera. It's very therapeutic and good to talk it out loud, I think. And sorry if this was just a very disorganized chat, but I think for the most part, if I'm going to do YouTube content, it's just going to be talking head, real stuff, what's happening right now, and kind of no script, just like little bullet points of things I want to remember to mention, basically. But that would make it a little bit more possible, just to be able to like hit record, talk. The edit is just one long clip, and render it, export it, publish it. So let's see if I can keep going with that. That's what I'm working on right now. Those are the different things. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions about it, drop it in the comments. I will respond to everything because I only get like 1 comment per video, not even. So if you have questions about it or more specifics on the different details of these different things, I'm happy to share more about it. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.